Okay, in an earlier assignment, we looked at a line on a graph and had to find the slope. Now you're going to do it without the graph. It's actually a little easier, I find, without the graph. So this is 7M3. Calculate the slope of the lines with the given points. Okay. Okay, now my first line passes through these points, 4, 2, 6, 8. Now I'm going to take a graph here. Don't get a piece of graph paper, just watch me. So 4, 2, that'd be forward 4, up 2. And then 6, 8, that'd be forward 6, up 8. So this line, okay, we want to find the slope. Now, in the past, don't write this down. I'll teach you how to do it without the graph here in a second. This was point 1, this is point 2. Further to the left you are, that's point 1. So it goes up 1. Remember, slopes rise over run from a graph. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 is your rise, and then 2 is your run. Okay. Now remember, with these we think reducing, and I provided a multiplication table. 6 and 2 are in deeper than the first row because I have a 6 and 2 here in the second row. So that means we divide by 2, and that'd be 3 over 1. That'd be your ratio of slope. Now how do you get that without the graph? Well, you need to label your points x, y, x, y. And it's y minus y, x minus x. Now underline your x's. We're going to start with the one with the in the parentheses with the higher x, 6. So 8's on top, 6 is on bottom. Then over here, 2's on top, 4's on bottom. So 8 minus 2 is 6, 6 minus 4 is 2, and that's how I can get the 6 over 2. So we need to reduce it instead of just dividing it though, okay? So 6 and 2 are both in the second row, so we divide by 2, that's 3 over 1. Now for some dumb reason, slope is represented with the letter m, okay? M equals 3 over 1. Okay, next problem. We have -3, 0 and -2, 5. Okay, so I have -3, -2. -2 is higher than -3. Okay, so we're going to start there. So -2's on 5's on top. You can't mix that up. Y goes on top. Then 0 on top, -3 on bottom. So 5 minus 0 is 5. -2 minus -3 is actually -2 plus 3, which is 1. Now the only place on a multiplication you would find 5 and 1 is in the first row. So if it's in the first row, it's already simplified. You can divide it by 1, but what's the point? It'll just stay the same. Okay, next one. -5, 3, -8, 10. So I underline my x's. -5 is higher than -8, so we're going to start with that one. Now there's a reason I'm starting with the higher x, because I don't want to ever end up with a negative on the bottom, okay? And if I start with the higher x, I'll make sure I don't end up with a negative on bottom. Okay, so 3's on top, -5's on bottom. Then after the minus, you come after the minus now. 10's on top, -8's on bottom. So 3 minus 10 is -7. And then make that plus plus. -5 plus 8 is 3. Now look up 7 and 3 on your table. And the only place I can find 3 and 7 is the first row. So I have my answer if all I can find is in the first row. M equals -7 over 3. Okay, next problem. We've got 9, 4 and 0, 1. So y minus y, x minus x. So we got 9 and 0. So I'd start with the 9. 4's on top, 9's on bottom. 1's on top, 0 on bottom. So that's 3 over 9. Now check your multiplication table. And 3 and 9 are both in the third row, so we need to divide by 3. That's 1/3. M equals 1/3. So again, that's how you reduce a fraction or a slope. Okay. Next one, -2, 5, -2, 10. Okay, so xy, xy. Now the x's are equal, okay? So we'll start with whatever one we want. So -2 on bottom, 5 on top, -2 on bottom, 10 on top. Funny thing happens here. 5 minus 10 is -5. That's the same. -2 minus -2 is the same as +2, so it'd be 0. What happens when you get 0? Well, you take your calculator and divide it. If you get that message, error, then m is undefined. It's an undefined slope. That's always going to happen when 0 is on bottom. Now when it's on top, it's a different story, as we're going to see in the next problem. Okay, so I have 6, -4, 4, -4. Okay, so I compare 6 to 4, start there. So -4 on top, 6 on bottom. Remember, it's the y's on top. Then, -4 on top, 4 on bottom, plus plus. -4 plus 4 is 0. 6 minus 4 is 2. Now 0 is on bottom here, but now it's on top. Take your calculator and divide. Don't try to memorize it. This time it didn't say error, it said 0. So m equals 0. There's a reason why. If it's on bottom, it's going to be undefined. If it's on top, you're going to get 0. Okay, I'm going to keep on plugging away. 1, 2, 7, 7. Okay, compare your x's. 1, 7, there's your higher x, so 7, 7, 7, and then 2, 1. So it's 5 over 6, and on the multiplication table, the only place 5 and 6 are is in row number 1. So the only common factor they have is 1, so divide by 1, but it'd just be the same. 5 over 6. It's already reduced. Okay, next one. 3, 4, -5, 0. Okay, compare your x's. 3 to -5. So there's your high. 3 is higher than -5. So 4 and 3, 0, -5. So 4 minus 0 is 4. 3 plus 5 is 8. Okay, can you reduce 4/8 by a common factor? Well, they're both, look, they're both in the second row, but deeper down they're both in the fourth row. You want to take the one that's deeper down, so we want to divide by 4. We want to divide by the highest number possible. That's 1/2, so m equals 1/2. Okay, then I keep on trucking. Okay, we have 3, 1 and -5, 3. Okay, so I compare the 3 to the -5. Okay, 3 is higher, so 1, 3, then 3, -5. 1 minus 3 is -2, 3 plus 5 is 8. 2 and 8 are both in the second row, so divide by 2, and you end up with -1/4. The negative doesn't go away, it stays, so m equals -1/4. Okay, next one, -5, -4, 1, negative 2. Okay, what are my x's? Negative 5 and 1. Okay, 1 is higher than negative 5, so negative 2 and 1. Negative 5 and negative 4. Both those would be pluses, okay? So it's going to be 2 over 6. Now those are both in the second row, so we could divide them both by 2, and m would equal 1/3, okay? Last one, negative 6, negative 6, negative 2, negative 2. This one's a little bit interesting, okay? Negative 6, negative 2. Negative 2 is higher than negative 6, so it ends up being negative 2 plus 6, which is 4 over 4. Now, if it's the same number, you're dividing by 4, okay? You don't need to look at the chart. It'd be 1 over 1. Okay, that'd be your slope.